Okay, well I think that's working. Something a bit different. I'm very excited about this Flight Simulator 2020. And today what I want to do is a quick demonstration flight. So basically doing a loop of local area to see how realistic it really is. For those of you that know the area, we're going to take off from East Midlands Airport, and the idea would be that we kind of take off heading east, make a left turn towards junction 24 of the M1, follow the 453 in towards town, turn left when we get to the ring road. We should see the Clifton flyover, the QMC, a few more landmarks as we track the ring road round to the right, and then make a right turn back into town, Hucknall Road, Mansfield Road, through the city centre, possibly catch Market Square, don't know how realistic it is, have a look at the football grounds, the cricket ground, and then back to East Midlands for a landing. So there's EGNX, East Midlands Airport. We'll take off on runway 9, which is the runway that faces east, so we're already facing in the right direction. That's going to be our departure. We'll start on the runway as well to save all the normal startup stuff that you have to do. We're also going to come back to this, but we're going to do something that you shouldn't really ever do, which is land the wrong way. So on runway 27 to come back in. We will do this in the Cessna 172, wherever she is. Yeah. So very basic aircraft with a few GPS bits and bobs to help us, but that is the one. Flight conditions today, we'll do it offline only. We'll keep the live traffic in there. Might see something, who knows. And we'll do the live weather. What's it like outside? No, actually we won't because it's a bit cloudy. We'll just do clear skies today, just so you can see what's going on. But you can set this live weather option, and it will then really get all the cloud levels and stuff in real time, but we're not going to do that. So, back we go. And yeah, let's fly, I guess. I have already played this a little bit this morning, and I found it to be pretty impressive. There's a few things that it doesn't quite get right. The way that it works is it basically takes the mapping data for Nottingham, and where it knows that there is a building or some houses or something, it will drop in appropriate buildings. It doesn't always work, but you'll see when we get there. Leads to some odd situations. Does take a little bit of time to get fired up, but hopefully should not take too long. So yeah, here we are, East Midlands Airport, EGNX. This is just an aerial view. That's the runway we're going to take off down. There's our little plane. There she is, the Cessna 172 Skyhawk. We're not going to be going too high today, but let's see how she goes. So we're on the runway, ready to roll. Again, we're just going to take straight off, straight out, make a left turn, find junction 24, and go from there. And I will switch to using the autopilot at some point just to make it a bit easier for me. So directly straight away, we'll switch off the parking brake, put a bit of speed on, and go this way. Looks good, so we'll give it maximum beans. Little bit of downward stick to keep it stuck on the ground. Speed coming up now, 40 knots. I'm going to pull back at about 60 odd, although it will start to lift on its own by that point. But we'll just gently pull back now, and off we go. So we're going to track east to begin with, climb probably to about 700 feet or so, maybe drop a little bit lower as we get closer to town. But you can already see on the left down there the new freight terminals and things that have been built. Just kill the throttle a little bit there. And yeah, so you can see like that's clearly taken when it was being constructed, so it's a building site for the new rail terminal, but that's the satellite imagery it's got. that's what's being shown here. And getting close now to about 700. You can already see below us there to the left hand side the road that takes us from the airport down towards junction 24, and we'll just follow that now. Take a bit of speed off here. You can even see the flyover bridges and stuff. There's junction 24 that's ahead of us, the road that loops around to the left from the airport. There's the A52 that goes off towards Stafford and what have you. But this then really is junction 24. There's the road layouts again when it's being constructed, and we're going to take a right turn now down the 453 towards the power station. And you can see ahead of us that the system has picked kind of a power station model which it should use. It's obviously not the same as the real power station, so as we fly over you'll probably see some circles on the ground where the cooling towers actually are taken from the satellite images, but what it's done instead is pick something a little bit different. Maintaining about 700 feet. I'm just going to climb a little bit here now. There we go. So you can see there on the left the circles that are on the ground. So they're the ones that are taken from the satellite imagery. And the game has chosen to spawn just a kind of generic industrial building where the power station should be. But there you can also see Parkway Station, the car park there, the roundabout access with cars going round, the cooling towers which aren't 3D rendered sadly, and then the power station building itself as well, which is pretty impressive. We'll just continue to follow the 453, and what I am going to do is probably set the autopilot just to make my life a bit easier. So we'll put on yeah, 700 feet will do. Autopilot on, altitude hold on. So now at least the plane will maintain its own level, but I can still roll the aircraft to keep us in the right direction. She is continually saying 500 because that's how far we are off the ground. Let's just turn a bit more to the left now. So we are following the 453 in, and I'll just also now use the heading autopilot again, just so now the plane is effectively flying itself and I choose which course and the altitude that I want here. Bring the flaps up because we don't need those anymore. Everything looks good. If we look at the left again, there's the 453. You can start to see some now of the outskirts of Nottingham coming in the River Trent, and in a minute we should reach yeah, so there's the junction I think that goes off towards Thrumpton and Eastleigh and what have you. And then just there on the left you can see the roundabout to the tram park and ride, which will actually be beneath us as we now cross into Clifton. So yeah, there's the roundabout as you approach Clifton from the south. There again, the car park for the park and ride, and then the retirement village and all the stuff that's around that part of Clifton. And then over there on the left, that big kind of campus, and in fact if we bear left a little bit, just what you want your pilot to hear, you can then see Trent University is down there. That's fine. I think they've just terminated my air traffic control, but that's alright. So there then, Trent Uni, the campus out at Clifton. Again, it's just picked some random buildings depending on what it wants to generate there. And we're now heading towards the Ring Road. So we'll just bear right slightly here. And what we should then be able to do is turn left, pick up the QMC and the Clifton flyover. And in fact I think we've already flown over it. Yes, we have. So there you can see the junction with the Ring Road, the Clifton flyover there. And we've already gone a bit further than I wanted to. So, whoops. Let's do a big left turn now. Now, unfortunately, with using the mouse wheel to do the controls, it keeps on zooming out. What I'm going to do is disable the autopilot. I'll take it myself. Try and keep it nice and level. And we should be able to loop back round and just see that again in a bit more detail. I'll take us a little bit lower, just so you can see the level of detail which is in this game, which really is quite impressive. So we're now just looping around the industrial estates down on the ring road. Should probably pull up a little bit there. So that, I believe, is the ring road below us, and this will then be the showcase estate, which we're now just kind of banking tightly over. Again, there on the left now you can really see the Clifton Flyover, but coming from the other way, so where it goes off towards Trent Bridge and West Bridgeford. But we'll just come back round and then track the ring road around, I think. Again, just the level of detail and the fidelity that they've introduced is really quite amazing. So down there, I mean, that junction isn't quite correct because that's the beginning of the ring road, I think, but no mind. That's the thing as well, you do see kind of bits where the game logic has clearly gotten it a little bit wrong, and we'll see some examples of that as we fly towards Trent Bridge. So here again, the flyover off the ring road and out towards the embankment, and then on the left we've got all the industrial estates. Again, the building's not quite correct because it's just auto-generated, but still really quite impressive stuff. Ahead of us at our 12 o'clock we've got the Queen's Medical Centre by the looks of things. I might just need to put on a bit more height here, but let's see. So again, it's just picked a building that it thinks represents the QMC based on the satellite imagery. Pretty cool stuff. But as we fly over, there's the roundabout near the QMC, and down there then you can even see the entry roads and car parks into the Queen's Medical Centre. Let's carry on a bit, and ideally what I want to do is try to find, although I think now I'm well off course. Oh no, that's okay. So there's the roundabout that would take you out towards Woollerton. The road off to the right there takes you towards the city centre. We're going to continue to follow the ring road along, and we'll try and find the city hospital campus and the playing fields near there before we then turn around and head back towards town. I am very low. You would never really want to be doing this. Ring road round to the right now. There's the big, I think, is that a school? House in the middle of the road. Nice. The auto-gen doesn't always get it right. I shall put a bit more altitude on here, just because I'm conscious with looking out the window that I'm going to end up causing a trouble. There then I think is the playing fields, is that right? And then I think that's meant to be the City Hospital campus now on the left here. Would that make sense? No, that's something else, isn't it? There's the train lines. I think I am a little bit lost at this stage, which isn't really surprising because I am flying very close and very fast. But if we bear around to the right, a bit more speed on now. Whoops. Ah, this looks more positive. So it looks like some playing fields here, which probably are the rugby school, the boys' high school playing fields, and then is that Hucknall Road? Looks like it could be. Yes, because there's the car parks for the hospital. Very good. So then we'll turn right. Oh boy. Yep. It's giving me a warning there because I'm flying far too slow. Let's put a bit more speed on. A bit more altitude on now as well. As we head in towards the city centre. So, theoretically at least, this should be Sherwood and Hucknall Road. Yes, there's the top of Hucknall Road. The prison will be down there somewhere, although probably not rendered correctly. And what we can now try to do is just follow this in to the city centre. Again, as it picks out the hills quite nicely. And there ahead of us now on the left hand side should be Nottingham city centre. Again, quite impressive levels of detail. There's another big building. Excellent local knowledge there. Just another big building. And now, is that the corner house? Would that make sense? This building here, maybe? I'm honestly not too sure. Again, you kind of get lost in all these kind of tall buildings because we are going very fast and very low, so it's hard to get a bit of an angle. But let's head out now towards the Trent, see if we can see the city ground and the cricket. A bit more speed on. Getting a bit of height. So there's the Trent. I think this is Meadow Lane here, first of all. Again, surrounded by houses, because, you know, that's what Meadow Lane is. But as we pass over, that's supposed to be Meadow Lane. On the left then, we've got the city ground. Just down there. Again, it's not really sure how to generate that. And we'll take a loop back round to have a look at Trent Bridge Cricket Ground, which I think has actually got like a massive hill in it in the game. Which doesn't really make any sense, but that's what it's decided. I'm also going to start a climb up here now, because what I want to do is a proper approach into East Mids, and doing it at this altitude would be foolish at best, so we'll just climb out a little bit and then spin back round to have a look at Trent Bridge. Still trying to climb as we go. So, a bit more altitude required here now. And just roll out and follow the river for a little bit. So then there would be, I guess, Gampston, Bridgeford, that sort of area. And this first bridge here, I reckon, is Lady Bay. Let's just slow it down a bit. So they're the practice pitches at Lady Bay. Whoops. Again, just what you want your pilot to say. And then there you can see the representation of the city ground, again surrounded by houses because the game doesn't know what to generate. In the background there, Trent Bridge. Oops. And again, monstrous hill on Trent Bridge. Something's not quite worked out there. And then Melton Road, which we could follow all the way to Loughborough and beyond if we wanted. What we're now going to do though is try and approach East Mids. So we'll continue heading south just for a bit, try and get the aircraft trimmed out for a nice climb, and then I need to work the GPS to take us back home. So what I want to do is go direct, and we are going direct to, need to zoom in here, E G N. Oh shit! EGNN. Come on. NX Nottingham. Enter, activate, procedures, select the approach. We'll take an ILS on runway. No, other runway, 27. Come on. Go down. Enter, enter. And I would like to please... Can I activate that, please? Go. Go, go. Here we go. Activate. Bam! Okay. So, we're locked in. And I think I can now just follow this line. I think, but I'm not too sure. We've climbed quite a lot now. I don't know if this red line is going to be the one for us to use. May have to do some solo flying here. I'm not quite used to how to program all this stuff yet on this version. But we are quite nicely trimmed up now. I know this will be fine. So yes, it's taking us straight towards the airport. I believe, looking at the map. It's just fantastic. Just the views. Really, really enjoying it. So if we look on this screen on the right hand side, we can see kind of the waypoints for approaching the airport. And I think what it's going to be is a right hand turn, because the airport should be over there somewhere. In fact, I think I can see the runway just over there. So that's where we're going. Now it wants us to go left and go round, but I'm going to shortcut this, which again you probably wouldn't ever do on a real flight, but you can see directly ahead of us now the runway, and we shall try and get this landed. So when we come to land, we want to take a landing speed of about 60-70 knots, give or take. We're currently going way too fast, and I will sort that out as we get a bit closer. As we do get closer as well, you'll see the so-called PAPI lights on probably the left-hand side of the runway. And these are lights which will tell me if I'm too high or too low, kind of on the approach onto the runway. At the moment, though, I can't see them. Possibly because we're too far away. Ooh, connection lost. So the game does kind of stream content in from the internet, and that is not a good sign. What it just means is it won't be able to download any dynamically generated buildings, but given that we're coming to an end of the flight anyway, shouldn't be a problem. This might be a bit of a rapid landing here, because again, I can't see the lights, and I don't have the ILS switched on either. Oh, there's the lights on the right hand side, look. So you can see at the moment it's about 2 red, 2 white, which means that I'm about on course, so I am going far too fast. So let's drop some more flaps in, which means that I'll generate more lift on the plane at a slower speed, but it's also a lot less fuel efficient, so I will probably need to put a bit more throttle on. This is also why when you're on like a big plane flight, the closer you get to the ground, it seems the faster the engines are going. That's because they need more throttle in order to maintain the same kind of airspeed with more drag out the back. You can see now I've got 3 reds and 1 white, which means I'm a bit too low, but given that our rate of descent is relatively low anyway, there we go. A little bit off centre, but I can correct that before we come to land. More flaps now, and just let it drop. So at this point I'm probably coming in a bit too steep. I'll try to level this out before we hit the deck. There we go. Yeah. So I don't need to do any brakes really because it's such a long runway at East Mids. But I can just roll off to the first taxi point, which will actually be this first exit here. Get the flaps back in, and off we go. Bit of brakes now just to slow us down. Oh, it's a good job I didn't pick the live weather because it has just started absolutely pissing it down here. Now normally at this stage what I'd also do is contact the ground controllers to figure out, you know, where I need to park, but I'm just going to go and dump it somewhere because I'm not doing that system today. But we'll just follow this. And we'll just go and park up next to this guy, I think. Into just general aviation parking. Like that. Nice. Bang the parking brake on. And then let's do a shutdown. So that's going to be engines off. Take the mixture out. What's next? Like battery off. Avionics off. Yeah, that's all fine. Get that switched off. Job done. Mission accomplished. That is how to fly. I cannot tell you how impressed with this. It is so good, and I'm going to do a few more flights this evening. But I hope that you found that enjoyable, useful, entertaining, whatever. And yeah, have fun with Flight Simulator, I guess.